On this episode of the Bronze Metalist podcast, we talk about Queen of Time by Amorphous, a Finnish band.
They're Finnish.
I wanted to... was trying to come up with a joke I could say. This is after the music at this point.
Oh, is it? We've come back in?
Yeah, we've come back in. I was trying to come up with a joke about Finland and using the word. Hey,
Finnish.
Who knows when this episode will be finished? But yeah, I don't have that.
I haven't seen you in a long time.
Yeah, it's been a while. Hey, by the way, welcome to the Bronze Metalist podcast. We're two professional broadcasters, and we like metal, and we like to talk about it. And today we're talking about Queen of Time by Amorphous. So we'll get to talking about that. But
From 2017,
yes, a few years ago. But yes, it's been a while. You had the week off, and we're hanging out with your daughter, who you haven't seen in quite some time. How did all that go?
Went great. We had a lot of fun. Did a lot of stuff. Ate a lot of food. We went down to the lake.
Nice. What'd you do with the lake?
We just threw stuff in the water and put our toes in.
You know, like radioactive waste and that sort of thing.
We get paid to dispose of it. Exactly.
Yeah, to dispose of it discreetly, just so
it's good money.
So the EPA doesn't hear about
Lake
it.
Lake Sakakawea is now a happy fun site.
Yay! Hey, look, anything for bigger walleye.
Sure, exactly. Big three-eyed walleye.
Exactly. It's like the fish in the Springfield Lake or whatever.
Exactly.
So yeah, I'm glad you had a good week.
I did.
A nice week off in the summer.
Yeah, I met her fiance.
My brain didn't quite process, and I heard I met my fiance, and I was like, wait, a whole lot has happened in a week.
Oh yeah, that's right. I'm getting married again.
You met her fiance.
Yeah, I met her fiance.
And
his name is David.
David. And how is David? He seemed like a good dude. He
works at the Geek Squad at a Best Buy in Phoenix. He's a really good dude. He loves video games and
nice.
He likes a lot of the same stuff I do. And we all three of us just talked and alienated everyone around us.
Well, hey,
it's great.
at least it wasn't one of those cases where you meet the guy and it's just like, okay, you're a human being.
Yeah, I guess.
You exist. I'm glad my daughter likes you.
Congratulations on marrying the warm body.
I'm glad somebody likes you.
Because it's certainly not me. No, I like the guy. I do it.
That's good to hear. It's good to hear.
And I've been walking 10,000 steps at least every day. So
nice.
at least 5 miles a day I've been walking.
Nice.
And mostly in the morning going downtown, and it's been great.
I suppose it's been awfully hot these last couple of days, though.
It has, but it's been good.
I suppose so. What have I been up to since the last time we recorded? I got a haircut.
Yeah, you did. You look like an adult. It's weird.
I look like a grown up. And when I went to do a remote last Saturday, I was wearing khakis and a button down shirt, and I looked like a used car salesman, or maybe just a car salesman, maybe not a used car salesman, because that implies a certain level of skeeviness. I looked nice.
You didn't look used.
I just looked like I was gonna, try and get someone a deal on a nice Hyundai.
Sure. Which is a good thing. I mean, a person should get a good deal on a nice Hyundai.
And hey, I was there talking about deals.
Sure.
That's why I was out there.
Were you out at the
It was a furniture store.
Furniture store, right? Oh, yeah.
Was out there selling. Well, I wasn't selling things.
No.
Good God.
You were selling people on coming in to be sold on stuff.
Yes, that's what I was up to. And that went fine.
Good.
Probably one of the smoother ones I've been out to do, although that was kind of because they didn't send anybody to talk to us, because it was a 2-person remote.
Right.
Because we were doing 3 stations.
Right.
And they didn't send anybody to talk to us. And so,
did anybody show up, like customers?
Oh, yeah, there were customers coming in. I don't know if they were necessarily coming in because we had been talking, but
I've done remotes at that particular furniture store where not a soul has entered the door.
But hey, at least there's somewhere to sit.
Sure.
Although we eventually got moved outside, which was kind of weird.
Okay.
But because they were like, we'll set a tent up for you outside. And we're like, okay.
And you're on Broadway, so you flagging people down? I mean.
No, we weren't. But yeah, we were out there. It was a beautiful day last Saturday.
It was.
And afterwards, I went down to my parents' house and hung out with them and my nephews and all the dogs, and that was a fun time.
It was a good weekend.
Yeah, it was a good weekend last weekend. Yeah, it was fine. It was fine.
It was fine.
It was fine.
Fine. Anybody miss me at work this week? Anybody notice I was gone?
I don't think will remember who you are.
Okay, that's good.
No one knows your name anymore.
As long as they start paying, as long as they keep paying me. That's all I care about.
Hey, I certainly missed you yesterday. Things were incredibly messy yesterday, and we've got a whole bunch of production that is due on Wednesday that we couldn't do on Friday.
Sure,
because we had to do everything else.
You were getting your ass kicked.
Yeah, we were. The production department was getting fucking thrashed on Friday as far as workload goes, and we had 2 people gone for most of the day. So yeah, busy Monday, Tuesday coming up, which is nice because usually Monday and Tuesday, at least for me, are
boring,
unbearably boring.
You know, I just hope I remember how to do the job.
We'll find out.
It's been a week.
We'll find out.
Yeah,
I get that though. If I'm gone for a long time, the first day back, I'm like, okay, what do I do?
What is this again?
What is this? What do I do this morning? Where do I go? Oh yeah. Like, it's weird. It's like playing catch up with homework when you're in school.
Yeah.
Like, you'd be gone. If you missed a few days of like math class and you get there and you're like, you guys are doing what now?
What do these symbols mean?
What are all these are numbers, you say?
Right.
Numbers. These are these newfangled Arabic numerals. I'm still on the Roman ones.
Yeah.
Roman numerals are weird.
They are.
I
learned how to do them when I was V.
When you were V?
Yeah.
When you were 5?
Yeah. That's when I learned Roman numerals.
I can't really figure out. I can't really figure out Roman numerals above like 20. You get past 20.
Past XX?
Yeah, and it's just kind of like, what is this? I get confused by them. Like, every year when I see a Super Bowl logo, I'm like, okay, what does that mean?
What Super Bowl are we on?
What is
this?
this?
Super Bowl 500? Is this?
What one is this? I have no idea.
You know, the problem is with Roman numerals is I get to 30 and I start to think I'm going to see one of my favorite kind of movies.
Oh, there we go.
Sure.
You mean XXX? Your favorite movies featuring as the character Xander Cage.
Yeah.
Played by Vin Diesel. Of course, there's the one in the middle with
Ice Cube.
Ice Cube, yes. Right. State of the Union is that one. I have only ever seen the first XXX movie, and that's probably been at least a decade.
Sure.
Since I've seen any part of that one.
I hear you.
XXX is a weird. It's a weird franchise. It's a weird thing to be a franchise.
It is a weird thing to be a franchise. Like the James Bond thing. I mean,
that was the whole point, I think, with the first one is it's not your daddy's spy movie. This guy does stunts and he can use his skateboard and
he can snowboard and parkour.
James Bond makes love. This guy fucks. Like,
that's why it's XXX.
Exactly. It's but that's the thing with like every Vin Diesel thing is it's weird that they're franchises.
Right. Like the Pitch Black.
Yeah, the Riddick franchise.
Right.
I'm happy it's a franchise.
Sure.
I like the Riddick movies.
So do I.
I don't necessarily. Pitch Black is good. I don't know if Chronicles of Riddick is good, but I like it.
But Pitch Black is a good movie.
Pitch Black is genuinely a good movie. But Chronicles of Riddick, I don't think it's good, but I like it. It's going for a lot, and I appreciate that because it was a new sci-fi thing.
Sure.
And they went for it. That doesn't happen a lot these days. If it's a big sci-fi thing, it's based on a book that was popular.
Sure. This is based on a movie we accidentally did well.
Yeah, this was based on a horror movie.
Yeah,
and that's what it is. It's like if it is a
space horror, yeah.
If it is a sci-fi movie, it's like it's like a horror movie where you don't have to explore the wider universe. It's like they're just on this planet and there's spaceships. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. How does it work? Yeah.
We're not getting to that. That's not the focus.
Right.
What are all the other planets? Where are these people from? That doesn't matter. They're on this planet. Don't fucking worry about it. That's the type of movie Pitch Black was. And then Vin Diesel was like, but what if there was a whole other galaxy, like a whole galaxy and necromongers?
Yeah.
And what? I can't do a Vin Diesel impression. I don't have a good handle on Vin Diesel's voice.
It's like Stallone had a stroke is what you sound like.
Which is saying something for Stallone. What if Carl Urban was wearing like plate armor that looked like real spooky and Judi Dench was a ghost? Why is this so funny?
I don't know.
Oh boy.
Right.
Anyway, listen to anything new lately besides Amorphous?
Anything? Have I listened to anything new?
You discover anything?
I haven't discovered anything new. I've been listening to a lot of old stuff, but I haven't discovered anything new.
I've been listening to a lot of Hammock while I'm playing RimWorld, just because it's kind of like chill and like mildly Western-y.
Right. So speaking of video games,
yes,
you're talking about your rim job. I'm telling my soon-to-be son-in-law, I've kind of kicked off violent video games. Too much stress in my life, and then I find myself feeling overstressed. And so, what did I do? I went and played a violent video game.
Yeah. Sometimes that's what they're there for.
Sometimes this helps.
Yeah. Sometimes you just need a digital punching bag.
Yeah. And I beat my way through a large portion of 2016.
Oh, there we go. All right.
Yeah.
Finally. Where'd you get?
Okay. I got. I haven't left hell yet.
Okay, the first time you're still in.
I'm in mission 6 still, technically.
Kadinger Sanctum.
Yeah.
Funny hell words.
Yeah, I'm fighting the big Minotaur-looking dudes.
You're fighting the Barons.
Yeah, the Barons.
The Barons of Hell.
Yeah.
We're talking about Doom 2016.
Yeah, Doom 2016.
All you said was 2016, and I understood.
You knew.
But,
yeah, and you know what? It's funny. I didn't realize before. I don't know, when I was playing it, I was just, I'm going to shoot stuff, and then it's going to be... And I got frustrated when I couldn't win, and then something clicked in my head, like, you got to strategize this shit.
Yeah.
Man. Dude, they're the big guy coming at you. You switch to the Gauss cannon.
Just switch. You know? I mean, that's the solution to literally every problem in Doom 2016. Right. No, once you have the Gauss cannon, is just switch to the Gauss. Just why are you using anything else? Switch to the Gauss cannon.
Right.
Doesn't matter.
Quick, I got a chainsaw and unwilling, so I can get some more ammo.
Gauss cannon ammo. Like, that's just the Gauss cannon in Doom 2016 is ludicrously overpowered.
It is,
especially if you get it fully upgraded. It's the only gun in the game that matters.
I still use the rocket launcher on long distance things. Yeah, and then I'll forget something. You'll get too close, and I'll hit it with the rocket launcher and kill myself. It's like fuck.
That's always a good feeling.
Yeah,
that's always a good feeling.
Yeah,
but yeah, I've just been. Mainlining RimWorld like it's my job.
Well, how far? Do you still have a colony?
I still have a big colony.
Is Chris still alive?
Chris is still alive. So if you don't know, I explained briefly what RimWorld is last time, but it's a little colony building simulator. You build a little town. You're trying to get all these people to survive, and there's a ton of fairly in-depth systems for farming and base defense and all that sort of stuff. And you can one of my colonists ended up getting their hand chopped off at some point, or I think they got their hand bitten off, and I fashioned a prosthetic arm and had one. I have two surgeons or two doctors. One's like a doctor and one's like a surgeon.
Sure.
And I had the surgeon give her a prosthetic arm. But I didn't quite realize. I thought like prosthetic arms is like, oh, it's like a cool robot arm. No, it's like a hook hand.
Sure.
It's better than a wooden stump.
Sure.
But it's not, it's not cool space shit.
Right.
But the cool space shit is in there. Those are called bionic, arms and whatnot.
You don't have that technology yet.
I do.
Oh, you do?
I recently gave one of my older colonists a bionic leg because she got shot by this robot with what's called a charge lance.
Yikes.
And she was Dr. Housing it, where like her leg was constantly in pain. And so in order to alleviate the pain so she would stop complaining, I would have her smoke weed. But then it was like, okay, this is getting to be, I can't micromanage her pain management situation, so just cut off the fucking leg.
Sure.
Give her a robot leg. It costs some valuable like electronic components, but it was nice to not have her complain anymore. She also has 2 cochlear implants because at some point she went deaf,
so she needs to have 2.
Well, she's got one in each. She's got one in each ear.
And usually you get a cochlear implant, a lot of people just get one ear,
I guess. But like
we can get an eye transplant, you don't get both eyes.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, it's like one of her ears got like shot off.
Oh.
And I put a cochlear implant in that ear, but she still couldn't. I went to have her trade because she's my best, most well socialized person. So she's best at trading with people and interacting with people. But I went to go have her trade and it says, Coyote can't hear what the trader is saying to her. Find a negotiator who can, who has better health. I was like, why the fuck can't she hear anything?
She has a cochlear implant.
I guess her other ear was still fucked. So I don't know. One of my original 3 colonists died today.
Oh no.
Well, I didn't feel too bad. She had a lot of valuable skills. I have gotten to the point where I'm no longer attached to anyone for the most part, except like my doctors. As long as my doctors live, that's fine.
Are you talking about the game still, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but like, she was on a caravan with another person, and it's the middle of the winter. She got fucking malaria. I don't know.
In the winter?
Yeah, I don't know how that happened, but she got malaria in the middle of the winter and died. And so the funny thing is the person she was on the caravan with was also her rival. It was the person in the colony she least liked.
Okay.
And so I just had that person dump her body and move on. I shouldn't have had her do that because I just remembered she had a very valuable, like ancient technology eye that I had installed. So I
harvested that.
Yeah, I lost that. This is like a super cool like robot eye. That's just sitting out in the wilderness on a rotting corpse now. But hey, you live and learn in RimWorld. But yeah, it's been going all right. I've just been sinking a lot of time into it because it scratches a particular itch for me when it comes to video games. I don't know why. It's the sort of thing where I'm sure, and we were talking about this, I'm sure if I started playing like Stardew Valley, I would be in the same situation where I would never stop playing it.
Which I love Stardew Valley.
Stardew Valley seems like it's a great, like, probably quite a bit more chill than RimWorld. RimWorld, there's multiple times every day where I'm just like, why the fuck are you doing that? Stop doing that. Go do this. I told you to do this, you stupid piece of shit. Like,
that doesn't happen in Stardew Valley.
Yeah, that doesn't happen in Stardew Valley. So that might be a bit more relaxing for me if I end up playing that. We should talk about the album.
Indeed.
So we are talking about Queen of Time by Amorphous. Amorphous is a Finnish, I guess you could call them a melodic death metal band.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of, especially in more recent years, there is a lot of symphonic metal and folk metal.
A lot of beautiful symphonies on this album.
Beautiful, synth and keyboard and lots of harmonies. This is a very, very melodic album. And that's a sort of thing that they've been doing for a while. They've been around since 1990 and are kind of one of the big bands in Finland.
Yeah,
they're one of the bigger ones. I mean, Finland is the land of a million metal bands.
Yeah. There are more metal bands in Finland than anywhere per capita.
Yeah.
Than anywhere else in the world.
Which is, I think, is amazing. And Amorphous is perhaps the most Finnish metal band because so much of their material is based on the, I'm going to butcher the pronunciation of this because it's Finnish, Kalevala?
Kalevala? Or the Kantele, yeah.
Which is the national epic poem of Finland. It was in the late 1840s, I think. There were several one historian, I want to say. Anyway, people went and collected all of these Finnish folk myths and mythology from the pre-Christian period and compiled all of them together into this tale of the sort of the creation of the world. And
they've always drawn from that, Amorphous has.
Yes. And I mean, hey, it's a cool story. I was reading some of it. It's one of those things where it's like, oh, wow, this is a little confusing because it like there is a tendency if you're familiar, some thunder. If you're familiar with Tolkien, for example, and you know how Tolkien's world is built, and you read the Silmarillion, and you're like, oh, okay, this makes sense. I get it.
Sure.
It's in extremely flowery prose, but like if you can read through a wiki page and understand how the world came to be, you don't necessarily have to read the book.
Sure.
If you want to read,
good to read the book.
It's good to read the book, but if you're just curious how all that came to be, you can read a wiki entry instead. If you don't want to, spend months trying to parse the extremely flowery prose. The Kalevala is one of those, like a lot of European creation myths, kind of one of those like, what?
Yeah.
But how?
That doesn't make sense.
There's like a duck egg and like some other things going on. And it's kind of like everyone would just be like, it's fucking the gods did it.
And unlike
it doesn't have to make sense.
Unlike the Silmarillion, this possibly had many different authors.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Absolutely. And that's the thing, especially when you're trying to compile a history of your nation's mythologies hundreds of years after they, were kind of outlawed more or less.
Yeah.
That's always going to be difficult trying to recover. It's always going to be a bit weirder than it would have been if you heard it firsthand from someone who believed in it. But it's a neat story. I was skimming it and I can't really relay it. Anyway, this album, Queen of Time, is extremely listenable.
Very listenable.
This is an extremely listenable album. I've been listening to it a lot this week, just kind of on in the background. This almost feels like something you would hear at like and this maybe sounds a bit reductive, but it sounds like something you would hear like we're having a metal show at the Ren Fair.
Yeah. No, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
That's kind of what it sounds like, but it is so clean.
Yeah.
This is so well produced and so clean and so polished. This is an incredibly polished album. Not to be confused with an incredibly Polish album.
Right.
That will be something like Behemoth.
Right. Which we'll talk about another time.
Another time.
Hopefully. Love Behemoth.
But so Amorphous and you, where did Amorphous come into the story of OJ?
The album Elegy. A friend of mine had a copy of it like on tape, and I had to go buy it on CD. How about that? And Tuonela. I listened to those a lot in the 90s.
And their earlier stuff was a bit heavier, wasn't it?
It was a bit heavier. It was obviously they were younger. They sounded a lot younger. I mean, this sounds like men in their 40s.
Yes.
Yeah, who have the money and the time to make something. Back then, it was a little more just raw,
slapdash, and like hell yeah, Finland.
But still, because
Finland, fuck yeah. Anyway, so there are two vocalists at the moment in Amorphous. I guess it didn't used to be that way.
No, it didn't.
The lead singer, whose name I cannot recall and probably would not be able to pronounce.
I can't remember.
I have a laptop I'm going to go grab my laptop.
All right.
And open that up and look at Wikipedia pages.
You could actually do this now.
Let's just open up a page for amorphous.
Perfect.
Yeah, we're all gassy. This is good. This is Honey Vice.
Yes.
I haven't had the Liney's Honey Vice in a long time.
Yes, especially considering that the first track and most popular track on this album is called The Bee.
Yeah.
I figured this would be a
great
fitting
song.
beer. It is a good song. Let's see. Current members. Oh boy. So
good luck saying this.
the lead vocals, a little bit easier. Tommy Joutsen.
Or is it Yeltsin?
Might be Joutsen, lead vocalist. Then on rhythm guitar and backing vocals, meaning the growled vocals, is another Tommy, Koivusari. Then on lead guitar, we got Isa Holopainen. On drums, we got Jan Reckberger. They must be like, their family was like Swedish or something.
Must be.
When the Swedes were in charge of ooh.
Some serious stormage going on out this pretty often.
Yeah. I like thunderstorms.
So do I.
Then on bass and also backing vocals, we got Ale Pekkalene. And then on keyboards, we have Santeri Kallio. Kallio. I don't know. It's Finland.
You said them all wrong, and it's okay.
I've said them all incredibly wrong. I am 100% certain. See, that's the fascinating thing about Finland is how incredibly different their language is.
It's like an alien language.
It really, really is. Because you expect Japanese and Chinese to be difficult to pronounce and that and whatnot. And Japanese is not even that difficult to pronounce once you see it written,
right?
Because it's almost
unless it's written in Japanese,
which I can't read. But if it's written in Latin characters, it's usually written exactly the way it's pronounced.
Sure.
Finland, I got nothing on Finnish.
And their letters are similar to the letters we're used to.
They use the same alphabet. It's just all of the rules of how the language works are completely different. And I think that's neat. More variety, I say. People need to invent more new languages. It's been how long since we got Klingon? Come on.
Mark Orkrand. Let's call Mark and get him on this.
I guess we have Belter Creole.
Yeah, Belter Creole.
From The Expanse. That'd be fun.
From the Beltwala.
Fun to learn Belter Creole.
Sure.
Anyway, what were we talking about? We were talking about Amorphous.
They're Finnish.
Yes, they sure are. So do you think this album slaps?
I don't know if it slaps.
I'm on the same page.
Yeah, I mean, it's good heavy metal music, but it's more...
This doesn't slap in the same way that Lord of the Rings doesn't slap.
Right.
I love Lord of the Rings.
Sure.
Lord of the Rings, the movies, they're my favorite. They're probably my favorite movies.
Right.
I was having such a bad day a couple weeks ago. I just put on Fellowship of the Ring. I was like pissed off and angry.
Now you felt better.
And I was like, why? I just wanted to not feel this way. I'm going to watch Fellowship of the Ring. And I felt immediately better. Like, I love Lord of the Rings. I don't watch those movies and go like, fuck yeah, Lord of the Rings. I kind of sit down and I'm like, ooh.
Big thunder.
Big thunder. But I just kind of sit down and say, Lord of the Rings. Take me back to the good old days when I was a child, hanging out with Frodo and Sam and Aragorn and all their pals. That's a great time.
I almost said Tamriel, but that's
the Elder Scrolls. Yeah, that's the Elder Scrolls.
That's the Elder Scrolls.
But this kind of in the same way. It's a little too theatrical to slap.
Yeah,
I would say.
And they really worked hard on that.
Oh, absolutely. This is dripping with atmosphere. Maybe atmosphere is not the right word. This is dripping with
theater. Maybe.
Theater, dripping with charisma. There's a lot of I'm struggling for the right word for this, but this is a very dramatic album. It's dripping with drama. There's a lot of drama in this album, and I appreciate that. It's like listening to a song version of The Lord of the Rings.
Sure, it's like an opera.
Yeah, it's like an opera. This is a very operatic album.
It is.
Here's the buzzword. We found it.
Operatic.
The vocals are not necessarily as operatic as like a King Diamond or something like that.
No.
But the clean vocals generally are very smooth and very dramatic clean vocals. And the growls are the growls are so high fidelity.
Very hi-fi growls.
These are like just really very clean growls. That sounds weird, but they're just really, really well done for the most part. They're not messy or anything. And there's a couple different voices that old Mr. Koivusari uses. A couple different voices that he uses for his harsh vocals, and I appreciate that. We're getting some rain.
It's not hailing, is it?
I don't know. I kind of heard maybe a clinky clanky.
That's what I thought I heard.
I don't think it's hailing. But it's some neat stuff. I want to guess right now what your favorite song is.
You know what it's going to be. You know what my favorite song is.
I know what your favorite song is. I just have to remember the name of it.
It's 2 words.
I know who's on it. Give me 1 second here.
It's the second to last regular song on the album. There's a bonus track.
Yes. We're getting some headphone crackles here.
We are.
Amongst the Stars.
Yes. How'd you know that was it?
Maybe because Anneke van Giersbergen does guest vocals on it. It's hardly even guest vocals.
No, I mean, she's almost lead vocals.
Yeah, she's basically lead vocals for the songs. And I mean, I've heard Anneke van Giersbergen sing before, but it's mostly been in the auspices of Devin Townsend.
Sure.
That's an incredible amount of vibrato.
It is.
She sounds amazing, but I was just like, this is a little bit much. It's like a half step down there, Anneke. But my God, yeah, really, really, really good, really clean vocals.
Great.
She's the most Dutch sounding Dutch person I've ever heard, at least when she's singing there.
Sure.
Because I had a friend in high school who I knew online that I played video games with who was Dutch, and I did not know he was Dutch until he told me.
Really?
I just thought he had like a very mild speech impediment.
No, he's Dutch.
He was Dutch. He had a different accent because he was from a different country. But for some reason, my brain heard him talking and went, oh, he's American.
But it was so slight. You thought he was American and just
negligible accent.
Right.
It was weird. But she sounds very Dutch when she sings. But God, yeah, that's a banger track. So as far I was looking for scores, this was a very well received album. But things kind of normalized out to about 80%, which is pretty typical for any album that is worth listening to. Like if something is good, it usually falls around 80. It's nice to hear that that it was not an anomaly where it's like, this is a good album. Yeah. And then you look at reviews and like, why does everyone hate this? Because then you investigate why people hate it. And you read something and you go, oh, yeah. Yeah, that does. Oh, yeah. And you can never unhear something.
I feel like you've done that for a few albums for me on this podcast.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a few albums where
I'm sorry.
Where I was like, I love this album. You went, yeah, did you notice this? I'm like,
yeah, and
you're right.
I hate. I feel bad that I do that because I hate when that happens to me.
Right.
Because I fall victim so easily to that of like, oh, I've noticed this and now I can't enjoy this album anymore. Sure. Even though I thought it was perfectly great before I noticed that thing. So it's gotten to the point where I avoid any in-depth reviews of something I really like. If I play something or if I watch something or listen to something and I really enjoy it, and a YouTube channel that I watch puts out a review of it, I'm like, I'm not watching that. I don't care what they think about it. I don't care what they think about it. I enjoy this.
Right. It's mine. You can't take it from me.
But if I watch it, I'm just like, oh yeah. Yeah. And just super easily. And I hate that. I hate that happens to me. there's a lot of people who can just like something and be completely unaffected by anybody else's opinion of it. Mm-hmm. And I wish I was like them, but I'm not for whatever reason. My favorite song on this album was Pyres on the Coast.
That's actually my second favorite song in this album. I love that song.
It's a great song, and I am a sucker for a good album closer.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, there are the 2 bonus tracks, which are both quite good, although I want to say it was As Mountains Crumble. Goes maybe a little too far, uses a little bit too much keyboard.
A bit. Just
a bit too much keyboard.
Pyres of the Coast is great.
Pyres on the Coast is fantastic. I also thought it was interesting, the inclusion of saxophone, which immediately brought to mind something that I haven't talked about in a very, very long time,
and that
which is Rivers of Nile's 2018 album, Where Owls Know My Name.
There was a while there where you didn't not mention Rivers of Nile.
Basically where I talked about Rivers of Nile every single week. And I think these 2 albums came out in the same year. Let me check here. 2017.
Yeah.
Okay, so this came out a little bit before. Yeah. But I have to wonder if the guys from Rivers listened to Queen of Time and went like, we want saxophone too. We'll put some saxophone on our thing. That's fucking cool as shit. And I think it is a really interesting texture to put into a metal song is having saxophone in there. I think that is really interesting because saxophone and guitar are 2 extremely emotive instruments, as far as, having emotive band instruments where like it doesn't always fit to suddenly have a violin show up.
Yeah.
But seeing a saxophone on stage, it's like, oh yeah, there's a saxophone on stage. It's fine.
One of these times, you and I, we need to sit down and listen to some Naked City, and then
Naked City.
See how you feel about that.
Is there a violin?
No, there's saxophone and guitar. Yeah, it's actually a very insane saxophone player.
Oh, okay. So it's one of those things where this is emotive in the sense that it is invoking.
Yeah, you make this face.
Utter confusion.
Yeah, Yamatsuka Ai is from the Boredoms is their vocalist.
Oh boy, that sounds so familiar.
Yeah.
Why does that name sound familiar?
I don't know.
In any case,
yeah.
I mean, well, and that could be the other thing. Is that metal?
It's funny. It showed up on a metal compilation. It was one of those things. There was metal song. What the fuck is this? Metal song. It was one thing. So I don't think it qualifies.
It doesn't qualify as metal.
I don't know if it qualifies as anything.
Yeah. It's anti-music.
It is kind of anti-music.
It's like anal cunt.
Anal cunt is a little more structured.
What?
Yeah.
You're joking.
No.
How does it rank between so how does it rank between what is the most structured music? Modern pop.
Okay.
Modern pop.
Sure. The 3.5
very
minute.
Structured, 3.5 minute, same 4 chords, that sort of thing. And on the complete other end, we have Trout Mask Replica.
Closer to Trout Mask Replica.
Like how close?
I mean, it's
0's Trout Mask, 100 is modern pop.
It's about a 10.
Ah, okay.
I mean, because there are songs, structured songs, kind of, and you can tell they're doing it on purpose.
There are tracks.
Yeah, there are tracks.
And it's not just nonsense. It's not just a guy standing on the sidewalk recording a bush.
No. And the funny thing is that occasionally it will break into brilliant musicianship.
Every once in a while, I was just like, oh, that's coherent.
Yeah, as it turns out, they're great musicians. And then
they were just on a lot of drugs.
Yeah, John Zorn is the saxophonist.
Okay. That also sounds very familiar. I don't know why.
I mean, it even says on his Wikipedia page, category, crazy Jewish saxophone.
I'm thinking in September, what September should just be is Brain Melt Month.
All right.
I need to find the weirdest thing that there's not a lot of stuff that I listen to that isn't metal that is also incredibly weird. Because the only super weird thing that is on any sort of the same level as like Gore Guts.
Okay.
Is Obscura, that's
definitely metal.
It's definitely metal, and that would not fit the theme of a non-metal month, but like it is also Obscura is so tightly structured to seem like complete chaos.
Right.
It's just it's expressionistic classical music, but played on guitar with distortion instead of, by a symphony.
Have you ever heard the song Music for Airports?
I have not.
It's this sort of 15-minute long ambient piece that somebody covered. I wish I could remember who covered it, but they reproduced this whole thing. That's like that'd be like redoing a who's the guy? Jackson Pollock. That would be like copying a Jackson Pollock. I mean,
what the hell? One thing that did pop into my head is I don't remember the composer, but there is a piece of classical music I'm somewhat familiar with called Threnody for the Victims of Hiroshima, which was a Soviet composer, wrote it in the 60s, I believe. It is some of the most pants-shittingly terrifying music I've ever heard.
Nice.
It opens up... Well, it doesn't actually... So episode 8 of season 3 of Twin Peaks. I've talked about this before. Extremely weird episode. Twin Peaks... Already very high bar for weird shit.
Yeah.
This shot the moon, essentially. That episode actually opens with a fucking 9 Inch Nails concert.
A 9 Inch Nails concert?
Yeah, at the Bang Bang Bar.
I haven't got to season 3 yet. I'm gonna have to get to it.
So, it's the Bang Bang Bar where they would have Julie, what's her name? Where all the musical performances were in the first 2 seasons.
Sure, where the dad had his breakdown.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's that bar, and 9 Inch Nails performs because, of course, David Lynch is good friends with Trent Reznor.
Why wouldn't he be?
Because they both make really weird fucking music.
Weird fucking anything.
Yeah, just weird everything.
Yeah.
Then the episode takes a complete left turn when you see what looks like test footage from a nuclear test. Mm-hmm. And as soon as the light appears on the detonation, you hear just screeching violins, and it's just so incredibly unsettling. And that lasts for about the next 8 minutes, and things just keep on getting weirder and weirder and weirder. But that music's pops up and you go, oh, this is different. This episode is special for some reason.
I don't know why that reminds me of and this is the only thing like this I remember from MTV in the early 1990s. There was a promo, and all it was is it faded from black to a grown man with a tie under a coffee table crying. And you watch him for a moment, and then the words slowly come onto the screen. Trent Reznor's therapist. Yeah.
David Lynch's therapist must have an interesting job.
Yeah. I'll bet it's full of golden sunshine.
Golden sunshine. He's been doing these lovely little weather reports every morning for about the last month, and he always describes it as golden sunshine, and so I've started doing that in my weather reports.
Have you really been doing it?
I really have been doing it.
You threatened to do it. You sent me a text saying, and I'm like, do it.
I sent you that text, and before you responded, I had already done it.
Excellent.
I don't say it necessarily like David Lynch. I don't do a David Lynch impression. I do kind of say it the way he says it, which he goes, golden sunshine. Like there's a hyphen in the middle.
Right. Golden.
But I kind of say it that way, but I don't do a David Lynch impression, which that'd be very tempting. Nobody would get it.
No, especially not like you're saying. I would imagine you could do a lot of shit that no one would get on your station.
Absolutely. There's so much.
It's not your audience.
So many references I could make that no one would understand. And maybe that could be my thing. I don't have a thing on the radio. It could be my thing where, it's the guy who makes references no one understands. Like he makes a bunch of deep cuts that are really, really reaching. It's not a successful gimmick, but
I would think like your audience to see, he's the quirky, funny guy who says off the rails stuff.
He's the quirky guy.
He's quoting movies that you've never seen. Yeah. That's what he's doing.
Basically, that's all it is. Then I get that one guy who's just like, is he quoting Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. Okay.
All right. Okay.
That's a good movie.
Yeah, sure.
Hey, let's tune in.
He's got me.
He's got my ears. My ears are at attention. Oh boy, we went grossly off topic. So, what metal are you bestowing on this album, like Maz Kanata to Chewbacca?
As much effort as they put into it, it was great, but it was a bit long.
Yeah, that is something I noticed. Is about every song overstays its welcome by about a minute or a minute and a half.
Yes, I love them, but yeah, you could have got this done 90 seconds ago.
Every single one of them, every single one. I was just like, oh, it's this riff again. Like they all could have been a little bit more compact. I don't think the album would have suffered.
So only because of that, I give it a silver.
Yeah, I'm on board with you. This is a great album, great production, great performances and writing by everybody. But a silver because it's just not quite as tight and not quite as exciting as I would like it to be for a gold. Oh boy, I
enjoy it. I'll listen to it again.
Yes. Speaking of things that are concise and exciting next week.
Oh no. What are we doing?
Mirror Reaper.
Oh God, you're doing it. Okay.
We're doing it.
Oh God, okay, here we go.
We're doing it.
Oh, okay.
We're doing it. Make sure you're on your antidepressants.
I'll double up.
Oh God. It's time. We gotta, right? We've been talking about it too much. We gotta
talk about it. It's the elephant in the room. It's the 800-pound gorilla. It's Mirror Reaper.
It's Mirror Reaper
by Bell Witch.
The 800-pound, just crushingly heavy and depressing gorilla in the room. I saw you look off into the distance. You're already fucking disassociating.
Yeah. Well, because I'm gonna have to do I'm gonna start having to work in the morning because I've been doing all these long walks in the morning.
Yep.
Getting my steps in, getting exercise. Now I'm gonna have to do it in the afternoon, so it's gonna be the heat of the day, and it's gonna be people milling about. But I don't listen to music when I walk, and I'm gonna have to do it now.
Hey, think about it this way. At least it's bright and sunny and warm out. I think listening to this in the middle of the winter is probably a cause for suicide watch.
It is, yeah. Indeed.
Like if I was listening to this in January, that would be no thanks.
Yeah, if you call me and say I'm listening to Belch, I'm like, I'm coming over.
Yeah. Are you okay?
Yeah, you all right?
You need company?
Yeah, I'm gonna bring something to make you throw up all the pills you took.
Oddly, and all the suicide jokes aside and whatnot. Because that's maybe in poor taste, but like oddly enough, there's a lot of times like I can't listen to this at work.
Yeah,
but I get home and there have been times where it's like 11 o'clock at night. I'll start listening to Bell Witch, and it doesn't make me depressed. It doesn't make me sad. I'm not sitting there going, "Oh God,"
right?
Like I don't get depressed. I'm just like, "Wow, this is." It's interesting. There's a lot of, incredibly strong feelings of grief.
To be fair, it's more atmospheric.
Yes.
Than depressing.
Yes.
It is. There's a lot of atmosphere.
Yes.
It's very heavy atmosphere, but
incredibly.
Yeah.
It's a very fascinating album, and we'll talk about it in depth next week. Until we get to that, I guess check us out on Facebook and on Twitter. We post new episodes there. We've got some light show to play us out here. But we post new episode links there. Ominous. But we post new episode links there. And you can also find us on Libsyn and on iTunes or your iOS device or however you want to phrase that. Because I guess iTunes is not a thing anymore. Has that happened already?
I don't know. I still have I have.
Or is it just Apple Music? When's the last time you updated your phone?
I have a device thing that says podcasts.
Or on your podcasts app. I guess that's how that works.
That's where it is.
I suppose. Anyway,
on my phone, on your phone. On my Apple phone.
On my Apple phone. So until you hear from us again, thanks very much for listening to this episode of the Bronze Medalist Podcast. I'm Kale.
I'm OJ.
Congratulations.